So you're long Bitcoin, you're short MicroStrategy.
Yeah.
And you have been for a good while?
A good while, on and off for the last couple of years.
Why so? Because it's so levered to the price of Bitcoin?
We're short the spread. So that's the important thing that your viewers need to understand. I don't know where Bitcoin's going. 100,000, a million, 10,000. I don't know. I don't think anybody else knows. But what I do know is it's generally profitable to short $1 for $2.50 or $3. And if you look at where MicroStrategy, and now more ominously some of it copycat companies that are now raising lots of money, are doing is they are basically selling retail investors the idea that we are going to buy Bitcoin in a corporate structure. Because of what MicroStrategy has done, you should value us at a similar premium, and therefore earnings are created by the difference between what new investors are paying and what the net asset value is. But it's ridiculous. And so what we're doing is we're doing exactly what MicroStrategy and Michael Saylor are doing. We're selling MicroStrategy stock and buying Bitcoin. And basically buying something for $1, selling it for $2.50.
If Bitcoin continues to go up, is that the most direct impact to how your trade is going to work?
The premium fluctuates, and the premium is a really good barometer of speculation in the market. So we're back at premiums to NAV where we were at the end of last year, December of 2024. The premium came way in 5-6 weeks ago when the markets were getting upset. It's right back up. And so this is a good barometer, not only just of the arbitrage itself, but I think of retail speculation.
Back to the channel, and in that clip there, I wanted to share it with you guys. That's from a famed short seller. He's talking about shorting MSTR and longing Bitcoin because of the NAV premium. I want to get your guys' thoughts on that, but I think the reason why he's saying that is because there's a lot of other companies that are doing exactly what Strategy is doing right now. They may not have all these products. They don't have, STRF or STRK. They don't have every single thing that Strategy is doing, but there are a lot of companies like MetaPlanet and some others that are doing the exact same thing. And this is not me getting bearish on Strategy. I'm long both Bitcoin and I'm long both Strategy. I just want to get your guys' thoughts in the comments section below and see what you have to say. And this tweet here from Saylor I thought was really interesting. He's saying the curriculum for a strategy degree in finance, you need to know about all these products. So pause right here. We've talked about most of these products in our videos. If you don't know about one of these, you might want to do some research. But what's really interesting to me that Saylor included here is he included MSTY, which is the yield max fixed income. You're getting 80% APY every single year. That's what MSTY is. And it's very interesting to see Saylor include this in Strategy's degree in finance. So he's probably thinking that MSTY is a good thing for Strategy in the long term and keeping that NAV premium at around 2x there. And to look at the top traded companies in the US today, we can see Strategy was in the top 20 here, around $5 billion of trading volume, falling down a little bit. Past couple of days it's fallen out of the top 10, it's been in the top 20, but still massive trading volume there for Strategy. And Strategy right now is currently rated number 88 in the top 100 companies in the US based on their market cap, currently trading at just below $400 there, looking pretty healthy. Strategy's had a great past year and a half. And just to recap, if you guys are new, the reason why we look at this is because when Strategy is eventually included in the S&P 500, they're going to get an allocation based on their ranking in the S&P 500 based on their market cap. For example, we talked about this in our live stream yesterday. Coinbase got around a $16 billion bump after they were added in the S&P 500, and there are projections out there. Strategy currently where it's ranked right now, if it was added into the S&P, we could see anywhere from around a $24 billion to a $30 billion inflow to Strategy. And you guys know what Saylor would do with that. He would immediately use those funds to go buy Bitcoin. So that would be huge. We could see Strategy get included in the S&P after Q2 if Bitcoin performs well enough. And talking about Bitcoin here, check this chart out here. I thought this was really interesting. Bitcoin owner distribution. So you can see the individuals still have all the BTC, 14.32 million Bitcoin, 69% of the supply is held by individuals. Businesses own around 5%, ETFs own around 6%, governments around 1.5%. You have 8% of the Bitcoin has been lost, still around 5% of that supply has to be mined. Then you have other entities, only 1.3%, and the Satoshi has around 100 or a million Bitcoin with around 5%. But it goes to show you that Bitcoin is still controlled by the individuals, retail investors. They have all of the supply. This is a really good chart to see. It's not owned by the corporations or the states. It's owned by everyday individuals, which is really good to see. And now we're going to go ahead and get into some Bitcoin proxy companies. We have historic day. The shareholders have approved by a wide majority the transformation of MooMoo into the first Bitcoin treasury company listed in Brazil. They acquired 274 Bitcoin for around $28 million at around $103,000 per Bitcoin. They have a Bitcoin yield to date at around 600%. So this is what we've been talking about. Strategy was the first one to do this. They've been very successful. We saw other US companies follow them. MetaPlanet has been doing it in Japan, and now we're seeing other Japanese companies follow them. We saw the blockchain group over in France. They are doing it there. They've been very successful. We're going to see other European countries follow them. Now we're seeing it in South America, in Brazil. If Bitcoin continues to go up for the rest of the year, for years to come, other companies may look at MooMoo, and I'm probably pronouncing that incorrect, and they will probably follow suit and put some Bitcoin on the balance sheet. So this is huge to see. And then we have Saylor here. They'll be going public on NASDAQ, and they'll be rebranding to Asia Strategy. They're literally calling themselves Strategy, but just in Asia. They'll be focusing on building the microstrategy of Asia using this entity moving forward. And we'll build a Bitcoin treasury alongside the entities we built in Asia. So there is just strategy, Bitcoin, FOMO going on right now. And all this is happening because of Michael Saylor. And look a little bit more at this company. This isn't a small company. They're around a $200 million market cap company. So they could have some pretty substantial Bitcoin buys coming in the future. And then Saylor Scientific. We have talked about them on our channel a lot. Today, they were up 30% in one single day. The market cap is now 455 million, and people realized what was going on. We talked about this in our live stream on Thursday. Make sure to join our live streams on Thursday. And we looked at their market cap. It was at $344 million, but the Bitcoin that they own, their net asset value on that Bitcoin was higher than that. So the market cap was actually lower, 0.9 value of what the Bitcoin that they held. And people started to understand that. And that's why Saylor is up 30% today. Their MNAV was literally negative. Like Strategies is at 2x, Saylor's was at 0.9. And this is the reason why they're up today. People started to understand, oh, this company is underwater and it's mispriced, and now people are buying into Saylor. And then we have Basel Medical Group, BMGL. They announced plans for a $1 billion Bitcoin acquisition. So they're looking to acquire $1 billion worth of Bitcoin and putting it on the balance sheet. Obviously, that is good to see. Basel Medical Group, they are a $44 million company. So we'll see how fast they'll be able to get to that $1 billion mark for BTC there. But I do want to put a little bit of a disclaimer out. We're seeing all these companies come out talking about, hey, we're buying Bitcoin. We're putting it on our balance sheet. Note one thing, a lot of these companies may be just using this as hype to raise the value of their market cap. For example here, this is back in January. Critical Metal Corp, they announced that they were going to try to acquire up to around $500 million worth of Bitcoin back in January. And if you look at what their stock price has done since January, it's completely fallen off a cliff. It's down 76%, and they haven't bought any Bitcoin yet. So with all these companies coming out saying they're going to be buying Bitcoin, we have to wait and see if they actually do it. And then with all these small companies we need to see how they're actually buying this Bitcoin. Are they having a decent leverage ratio? Are they keeping their debt under control? Are they actually utilizing risk management? These are all questions we have to ask when investing in any of these small companies. And it's really hard to keep up with every single one of these companies because there's new ones every single week, as you guys can see in all of our videos. So if you are going to invest in a company like Saylor happens to be one that we look into, so their financials seem to be pretty good. But if you look at some of these new companies that are coming in, you're saying, hey, I want to get into this before it blasts off because they're buying Bitcoin. Just be cautious and make sure you know their numbers because they could be super leveraged and they could really just raise a whole bunch of money that they can't afford to raise and use that to buy Bitcoin. So just watch out. We could have a major explosion in one of these companies. If they go under, that means that they're going to have to sell all their Bitcoin. So it's just something to take note of. And then this is a chart that we have looked at, the M2 money supply chart, but this is a strategy chart compared to M2 money supply. So we could see over the next couple of weeks, strategy could be pretty bullish here to the upside. If you look at what M2 has done, it made a little bit of a retracement and then it went all the way up to the upside. So the next 2 weeks in May could be bullish for Bitcoin and strategy if we continue to follow this M2 money supply chart. And take note that this has not always followed 100%. Back in 2022, M2 money supply was going up and Bitcoin and strategy and the whole crypto market went down. So it doesn't mean that this trend is going to continue, but over the past about year and a half, 2 years, this trend has been very, very close, as you can see in this chart. But that's really all I have for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed. If you found any value, make sure to hit that like button. My name is Aaron from the Bitcoin Bros. I appreciate you watching all the way to the end. I'm out. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Have a great rest of your day.